So it's a great day. I'm out back. I'm working on my carburetor on my Model A. For some reason, this time, first time in 10 years, I can't get gas to the friggin' carburetor. If one of you out there know how to get gas to a carburetor on a Model A, let me know. But I wanted to talk to you today. I wanted a little more serious note, and it's part of the reason I'm sitting here working on the Model A. The stress, my wife can tell me, when you're under stress, you do two things. And she's always clear. You always do two things. You either start taking stuff apart and then you have no patience to put it back together, or you hop on your bike and you go for a ride and we just don't see you. Stress level now, today, this time in our lives, is huge. Just huge. And it all has to do, we know, with this whole COVID thing. And I'm trying to make this COVID thing easier for each and every one of you. I'm trying to help you understand and help you deal with it. We're doing these Toolbox talks every week. I think they help. I think they give you something to grin about. But I want to be a little more serious today. Because what we've tried to do, on top of the COVID thing, you got to remember we're coming in the flu season. You have to remember we're going to increase stress based on the fact that we're going to be sending our kids back to school, our wife back to work, our partner back to work. The whole thing is just going to create this pinnacle of stress that we probably haven't had in the past. We're also looking at jobs trying to get done, additional things that we're doing on job sites. So I took a few minutes the other day and I tried to line out, and you guys will be getting them in the mail here or email or whatever shortly. I tried to line out 6 different scenarios that have to do with COVID and how we should react to it. So if we have a fever, if we call in, we have a fever over 100 degrees, we should probably not go back into work until we have 24 hours without a fever. If we have a cough, now some of you just naturally got a friggin' cough. If we have a cough, a runny nose, if it's not a usual occurrence, we should be 72 hours without those symptoms worsening. There's allergy, it's allergy season. We've got flus going on. We've got colds coming in. 72 hours without it getting any worse. If I've got an upset stomach, vomit, diarrhea, that type of stuff, 24 hours after the symptoms have gone, I can go back to work. If I have been exposed to a known exposure, someone exhibiting a sign or a symptom, yeah, I can go back to work, but I got to be aware of the symptoms, and I should self-monitor for the next 7 days. I should be very cognizant of what's going on with me, and probably wear a mask when I'm around other people. Wear a mask. And I would actually say wear a mask at all times if you think you've been exposed to somebody else, so we don't expose everybody else. If you're a confirmed employee, if you have a confirmed positive test, you want to isolate yourself. You want to, again, isolate from your family, from friends, from whatever, and see a doctor and wait for that doctor's release, or 7 days after the last symptoms, or you get a negative test. 7 days after your last symptoms or a negative test. And then finally, if we're exposed to an employee or a family member or somebody else that has a positive test, again, 7-day quarantine. If any symptoms arise, you're going to require a doctor release or 7 days after the last symptoms or negative test. So we got to remember that type of stuff. And then we got to remember we're sending our kids to school, our wife to work, our partner to work. We're starting to enter this time that there's a bunch of stressors coming into us. And not everybody enjoys or relieves their stress by simply taking a carburetor apart and trying to figure it out, getting frustrated on the carburetor, throwing the wrench across the room. So we got to look at how do we relieve stress out in our own lives. I'm going to tell you, try to set up a routine. So get up an extra half hour early. Go for a quick walk. Sit down. Read a book. Try to do some things at the end of the day. Sit and talk with your partner. Say, here's what's going on. Try to relieve that internal stress with those people around you. I was looking at some different things out there, and everybody's suffering through this anxiety. Nobody is getting the same message. Nobody is getting the same information. Everybody's got different info. God, the other day, I had a guy friggin' send me, look at this shit. I had a guy send me the Spanish influenza. From 1918, they put out a friggin' poster on what you should, I don't need this crap. I'm trying to get through COVID right now. So again, identify the source of your anxiety. May be ridiculous, but we know it's COVID. We know it's increased stress on the job. Let's step back, breathe, have a little patience with those people around you. Try to make it a unifying force. We're all suffering through it. If you want to talk to me, you've got my number, 802-223-2374. I'm happy to talk about that thing. We're all going through it. It's stressful. But try to make that a unifying force. If you got to have Zoom meetings with mom, dad, whatnot, that's the other part that's creating stress. I enjoy stopping at the local pub on my way home and having a beer and just dumping on the bartender. That guy's a great guy, but he's not there for us right now. So we've got to figure out how to do that ourselves. Figure out some unifying force, online group, whatever, that we can sit and just talk and shoot the shit with. Self-care is key in high stressful times, and I say self-care. My self-care tends to be taking that carburetor apart, hopping on my bike, going for a ride, disappearing, going for a nice little walk every once in a while. I'll tell you, Mrs. Wobby and I went out for a walk last night. Things aren't as bad as I imagined them. Things are pretty good. Just a chance to do something different. I'm not going to tell you take up yoga. I can't see any of you out there friggin' taking up yoga or doing anything like that. But a simple walk. Maintaining healthy routines. Come up with a healthy routine. Again, get up in the morning, go for a walk at the end of the day, but make your day's routine so that everything is there and we're doing those things needed to support our own health, our own stuff. I'll remind you though, and they're all talking about it, they're all saying it, it's all over the map. We at AGC are coming out with a survey book you guys will all be getting. Little health survey book that you can use, you can fill out every morning. The surveys are huge, and again, remembering that we're coming into this flu season, cold season, kids are going back to school. Remember that. So we're coming out with a little health survey book that you can fill out, you can get, and we'll be sending those out. We'll be sending out a poster, what you need to do. If you have to stay home, you need to stay home if you have this, or this. And when you're ready to go back to work, and we'll be sending those posters out to everybody. But the most important thing you can remember right now is one, worry about yourself, take care of yourself, try to relieve those stresses in your life. Just acknowledge that they're there. And then always try to maintain 6 feet of distance between you and the person in front of you, the person next to you. And if you can't do that, get the mask up. I always have my mask with me. I tell you, you guys should too. Always have your mask sitting there ready to go into place. We can't let our guard down at this time. We got to keep it up. And I say, keep your mask up. Don't let your guard down. My name's Richard Wobby. I'm with the Associated General Contractors. And guys, I'm here for you. And if you need me, give me a call. 802-223-2374. Thank you all for everything you're doing out there. And if we can be of service, you let me know. Thank you now.